Basically, the nutritional requirements for adults are not necessarily for their growth, because that is for schoolers, children, and adolescents. But the main focus of the nutrition and food requirements of the adults is to satisfy the energy requirement, okay, to do the day-to-day activities, to replace worn out tissues, the tissues that get old, it has to be replaced, okay, and to maintain a healthy body function of the entire system, okay, all the systems involved in your body. Okay, that's the topic for today. It's page number 39, nutritional and food requirements for adults. Okay, so this is just an image of a balanced diet, how much percentage of foods, carbohydrates, proteins, and fat should be there for a healthy individual, for a healthy disease-free individual, adult individual, male or female. Okay. So again, the reference Indian man and woman, based on these two references, we are taking this chapter into consideration. Whatever kilocalories are required for an average man, okay, how much carbohydrates is required, how much protein is required, etc. Everything is based on the Indian reference man and woman. What are these Indian reference man and woman? It is given by the ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, based on the adult population. A large chunk of adult population lies in this age group, okay, that is 18 to 29 as of today. As we speak today, in this decade, a large number of Indian population is within these age groups, okay, and based on the dietary patterns which Indians usually have, okay, and the average height of an Indian man, average weight of an Indian man, based on that, these parameters are set. So for men, between the age from 18 to 29, ideal weight should be around 60 kgs, height should be around 173 centimeters or more, body mass index should be around 20.3. Okay, that for women, same, age is same, weight is should be maintained around 55 kgs, height around 160, above 160 centimeters, and body mass index 21.2. And both of these categories are free from any diseases. They should not have any hypertension, diabetes, or anything. Free from diseases. Healthy individuals are considered under a Indian reference man and woman. Okay, so all the nutritional recommended dietary allowance and everything, what tables you find in the textbook for a healthy individual, what all tables you find in these two textbooks are based on the diet pattern formulated for these two specific categories. Okay, so again, for women, non-pregnant and non-lactating women are considered under the reference group, because when a woman is pregnant and lactating, her nutritional requirements change drastically. A lot of protein intake, lot of fiber intake is added upon. Okay, that we will see later. We have a completely different chapter for diets for expectant mothers, diet for lactating mothers. Okay, we have a complete chapter in that. In that we will discuss in detail. Okay, so nutritional requirements in terms of energy, average man and women should have around 2,320 kilocalories, plus or minus 50 calories, plus or minus 100 calories will do. Okay, you can go up till 2,400, 2,500, depending on the lifestyle which you have. Depending on the lifestyle which you have, for example, is it a sedentary lifestyle, moderate, or heavy workout kind of lifestyle? Depending on that, the energy values will change. This is nutritional requirements for adults, dietetics page number 39 onwards. Next time, please try to join early, okay? Like then we do not have such disturbances in between the classes. Please try to join between 2:30 to 2:35 p.m. Okay, please do that. Yeah, for protein, minimum 60 grams should be taken in regular diet, irrespective of what your weight may be. Okay, the minimum protein requirement given is, at least if you, for example, 1 gram of protein per kg body weight, 1 gram of protein per kg body weight should be the at least the minimum amount of protein you should be having every day. Maximum it is better to go 2 to 3 grams per kg protein every day, depending on your lifestyle. Okay, but minimum for baseline 1 gram of protein per kg per day should be ingested by the average man, adult man and woman. That is by 60 gram, around 60 to 70 gram. We take it as it should be there in the diet, irrespective of what kind of diet you have, or what kind of weight pattern you have, lifestyle you have. 60 gram of protein should be there in your daily diet. Then we have the protein energy ratio. This graph which you see here is the protein energy ratio graph. Okay, so if you see here the bread, okay, the last image here is bread. It is very low in protein, but it will give high amount of energy. Okay, on a regular diet which is full of bread or substitutes of bread, your protein requirements will not be met. Obviously your energy requirement will be met more than enough, and it will lead to obesity and other disorders. If you look at this meat, okay, don't consider it as chicken, just take meat. It will give you high protein value, but it will give it will not it can give you energy, but meat is a very complex protein. It has to be broken down, and the body and your intestines and your stomach takes a lot of time to break down the proteins from the meat. So it can't give you energy as quick as it was possible with bread. Okay, so energy you may get, but not at the same rate. So you have to find diets which have almost a ratio where it is between 6 to 12. Any kind of diet, which, for example, egg is a good example for that. Egg has a very good protein energy ratio. It will give you easily digestible protein, and it can give you quick energies also. Okay, so that is how we classify protein energy ratio. Any kind of food, how quickly it is going to give you energy, and how much of protein, the amount of protein and how much of energy, based on a period of time. Take x-axis as a time. Here this is not time, just take it as a consumption rate. Okay, just 100 grams of just take for example 100 grams of meat, 100 grams of bread. Okay, 100 grams of meat, 100 grams of bread. Which will give you energy fast? In the chat box, can anyone say if you have understood this graph? 100 grams of meat, 100 grams of bread, which will give you quick energy? Bread will give you quick energy. Okay, meat will take a lot of time to break down and give energy as a byproduct. Okay, that is how we define this graph. Fat. When it comes to the fat content, always remember 20% of the entire day's energy should come from fats, oils, and sugar. Remember that 20%. For example, if you take this number 2320, 2320, okay, do a 20% calculation of that. Only that amount of energy should come from your fats, oils, and sugar. And even from that 20%, only 5% should come from sweeteners like sugar, jaggery, or any artificial sweeteners. Whatever kind of sweeteners you use in your food, 5% of energy should come from the sugars. Remaining 15% should classically come from fats or oils which you use in cooking. Not more than that. If you go beyond that, either you must be having a very hyperactive schedule, day-to-day activities, or it may lead to obesity. Okay, so limit the fat up till only 20% of kilocalories of the entire day should come from fats, oils, and sugar. And minerals, for calcium, now they're revising it again. Okay, certain books you will find, certain articles you will find 400 mg of calcium, but now ICMR has replaced it to 600, and some sources you will see 800. So whenever they're updating these levels of calcium and levels of minerals required every year, whenever they update the ICMR RDA tables and all, usually it increases. So in the textbook as of now, they have given 600 mg of calcium is required by both men and women. So when it comes to calcium, remember that the after the second decade of your life, for example, after your 20s, okay, after your 20s, as soon as you reach 30s, the rate of absorption of calcium from food decreases, okay, and the calcium which is already stored in your bones, body will start to dig up that calcium to meet its regular requirements. So that will lead to decreased bone mass or osteoporosis, especially in women. Okay, so that is why we have to pay very much attention in the growth period of a child, growth period of a child, growth period of an adolescence, a teenager, and in early adulthood. Enough amount of calcium and phosphorus should be there in the diet, so that you are not at the risk of osteoporosis later in the life. Okay, so whatever are the RDA required for calcium, phosphorus, iron, okay, it's there in the textbook. There are tables in different chapters, so there is tables. We can refer the paragraph also. It is calcium, it is given. They have an upward revision has been done for calcium. So it was earlier 400 mg, now it is 600 mg, and some other sources which we can refer later, they are claiming it should be around 800 mg. Okay, so don't overdose a patient with calcium. Remain in that 600 to 800 category in for practical purposes. For exam, remember the 600 mg for calcium. And zinc is around 2.7 mg per body weight, per kg body weight of an individual. And iron requirement, when it comes to iron, okay, the requirement in women is much more than males. Women require 4 mg of iron more than males because of the loss of blood due to regular menstruation and all, and also loss of lots of blood in case of pregnancy and all. So iron has to be replenished for that. So for women, iron requirement is higher than males. So you can just read through that paragraph to understand how which minerals are required for which category. So coming to vitamins, when it comes to vitamin A, both for males and females it is the same. Okay, it's around 5,000 international unit of vitamin A supplement should be there. In case of extreme deficiency, that kind of supplement doses are given. Because vitamin A will prevent blindness, so that is a major concern here. Vitamin A deficiency should be taken seriously. It has to be treated as soon as possible whenever you come across such patients. Then coming to vitamin B depends on the calorie which an individual is having. Okay, but if an individual is having a very sedentary kind of lifestyle, less amount of vitamin B can do. If they have a very high workout training kind of lifestyle, their vitamin B requirement increases. Okay, usually the thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, we will see that when we will discuss about the water soluble vitamins. Okay, then for vitamin C, 20 mg of vitamin C, men and women both, 20 mg of vitamin C daily intake should be there, because since it is water soluble, vitamin B and vitamin C are water soluble vitamins. Your body will excrete it out every day through urine or through by a sweat. Okay, fat soluble vitamins can stay stored in your body in adipose tissues and in liver as well. Then vitamin K, 55 micrograms. Okay, 55 micrograms of vitamin K is required for adults, both men and women. Dietary fiber, does anyone remember the upper limit of dietary fiber above which you should not go? While explaining this topic, I had mentioned that. Anyone, if you have revised the topic, above what amount of dietary fiber you should not go? Anyone, if you remember from the class of dietary fiber? Forty gram is the basic requirement of dietary fiber. Okay, and that also it's a basic requirement, that much you should have. But above which you should not have, what is the upper limit of dietary fiber? They say you should have fiber rich food and all those things, but how much is too extreme? Does anyone remember that? It's always remember, do not exceed your dietary fiber intake above 60 gram. Okay, 60 gram, above 60 gram of dietary fiber intake in a daily diet. Okay, that will lead to diarrheas, and your nutrients from the food will not be absorbed. Okay, always remember, limit your dietary fiber intake to 60 grams only. Do not overindulge in too much of dietary fiber rich food. Okay, that should be a limitation to it. Otherwise, your body will get depleted out of its nutrient stores. Okay, now coming to the food requirements in adults. Cereals, most of the energy, 75% of the energy should come from cereals. Okay, rice, wheat, okay, ragi, bajra, all those things will come under this category. Give most of the cereals. Your entire diet, three times the times meal a day, that should be full of, or like it, 75% of those diet should be made up of cereals. 75% of the energy should come from the cereals which you take. Pulses, at least 2 to 3 servings of pulses like moong dal. Okay, those 2 to 3 servings of pulses should be there, because cereals and pulses, they complement each other. The kind of proteins that are absent in cereals will be present in pulses. The kind of proteins that are absent in pulses will be present in cereals. Okay, so having a combination of pulses and cereals on a daily basis, most of your protein requirement is met. Okay, animal food, especially if you are looking for protein, 1 egg per day is suggested. If you are a non-vegetarian, having 1 egg per day, preferably boiled egg. Okay, if you want to restrict on fat, boiled egg, 1 boiled egg per day is suggested. Should you have the egg white or yolk of the egg, that is still debatable. New researches are coming up. Earlier they used to say it should not have the yolk of the egg, only whites of the egg should be taken, but now new researches are coming up that both are equal. Okay, both are adequately required for the body. If you are limiting your egg consumption to 1 egg per day, you can very much have the entire egg, no, not just focus on the egg whites and all. Milk and dairy, at least 500 ml per day. For vegetarians, you can have soybean. Okay, there are plant proteins readily available. Okay, you can go for plant proteins, especially from pulses. And if not pulses, millets like ragi and other pulses like moong dal and all. If you are able to sprout it, you understand what is sprouting like, right? Germination. You soak it in a wet cloth the very next day, or within 2-3 days, sprouts will rise from it. So those are very much rich in protein. You can use that kind of sprouted pulses and legumes in your diet, so that can adequately meet your protein requirement if you are following a vegetarian diet. There are obviously plant proteins available. You have that substitute available for vegetarians. Milk and dairy, at least 500 ml per day. But if you are having 500 ml of milk per day, make sure it should be low fat milk. Okay, skimmed milk. And especially for if you are having 100 ml or 200 ml of milk in the morning, make sure you have curd in the afternoon. Okay, because curd is also filled with probiotics that is good for your gut health. So make sure you don't just focus on one kind of dairy. Take a combination of dairy throughout your entire day. The alternative of milk means, apart from animal milk, if you are lactose intolerant, you have soy milk, almond milk, all kind of milks that are available in the market. But it does come with a cost factor. Okay, they have like soy milk and almond milk, they have proteins that are very similar to milk, but remember that they are not as good as milk. Okay, that's one thing where it lies back. For PCOS patient, milk should be avoided, and like that we have not yet found a solid proof for that. Okay, until and unless if you are lactose intolerant as well as you have PCOD, then you can avoid milk completely. Okay, but until and unless you are not lactose intolerant, and if you are taking milk from sources where the cattle has been subjected to some kind of hormonal therapy. Usually that in the dairy industry in India, most of the cattle are subjected to hormonal therapy so that they lactate more. Okay, so that kind of things do take place, and that is why we see a lot of PCOD cases. That is a speculation that we see a lot of PCOD cases and ovarian cyst cases and reproductive health cases on a rise now. But still, when it comes to the other kind of nutritional value which the milk can provide, that is still debatable. Okay. Vegetables and fruits, at least 5 servings of vegetables and fruits should be there. Make sure your diet is colorful, filled with salads and fruits, and at least one medium size of fruits every day. And if you and try not to cook the fruits and all, because you will lose your vitamin C, because vitamin C after certain point of being exposed to heat, it degrades and it loses its value. Okay, it loses its potency, so you have to be careful in that term. Fat and oil, only 20%, 15 to 20% of the total kilocalories energy should come from fat, oil, and sugar. Especially 5% of the energy should come from sugar, not more than that. Sugar, jaggery, or any sweeteners which you use. That low cost balanced diet is very important. Okay, the majority of the Indian household lies in the middle class. Okay, so helping them and guiding them in such a way that having nutritional food, balanced diet, but it doesn't come with an out of pocket expense. That is very important as a dietitian or as a nutritionist in India. That is very important. Being able to guide your clients on spending less and achieving more in terms of nutrition. Okay, that should be one principle applied here. So these are the food stuffs which is generally mass produced in India, very much available in India all around the world, all around the year. Okay, and from things, especially the vegetables, fruits, okay, geographically which are available, seasonally available. According to that, you can give the list what they can have or they cannot. Okay, all the cereals, pulses, vegetables, fruits, milk, fats and oils. Okay, now nowadays throughout the year all through the country, all these foodstuffs, which is the list which is given here, are readily available. So it gives her n number of different types of recipes for different types of palettes which they can try and bring new recipes within a small budget and still sufficiently fulfill the nutritional value. It can be done with the list which is given here, and this comprises of everything that is there in the food pyramid. So additional guidelines which you can give to your clients, maybe if they are having rotis every day, try to make bigger rotis and thick rotis, because that will save fuel. Okay, making small rotis, that will cost a lot of fuel, etc. So tell them to make bigger portions of rotis, bigger sized rotis. Pulses and cereals combination, can anyone give an example for that? Food that is like classically it's already a mixture of a pulse and a cereal. Yes, khichdi. And how is khichdi a low cost balanced diet? How does it affect the cost? Think about it. If you are making a dal and separate bath, separate rice, okay, how much fuel will go? But if you're combining both these together in one go, rice and dal which is cooked together, okay, in one go, how much fuel a family can save over a period of time? And since and also in khichdi's you can also put some vegetables. Okay, so in that terms also, you are not wasting too much of fuel cooking variety of dishes, but within one dish you're saving fuel, but you're also sufficiently providing yourself with adequate nutrient. Okay, drumstick greens. Okay, yeah, one pot meal, we call it, what we call khichdi as one pot meal. So drumstick greens, the sing, the leaves of the sing. Sing is like, I don't know what they call in other languages, but in Hindi, like we say it's sing. Okay, drumstick. So the leaves of the drumstick, even if you go outside, you find a drumstick tree, you can see the ladies outside that particular drumstick tree, trying to go to the terrace, pluck out the drumstick greens and everything. Yeah, moringa or moringa. Yeah. Drumstick greens are easily available. Sometimes you do not have to buy it also. It can be there out in your kitchen garden. Okay. They're very rich in iron. When somebody is pregnant, when a lady is pregnant, they do advise her to specially go for the iron which is coming from the drumstick leaves or other green leafy vegetables, rather than completely being dependent on iron supplement, because that does give certain kind of like constipation kind of side effects. Then kitchen garden, having a small kitchen garden in your balcony, or if you have a row house, you can have a small area dedicated for kitchen garden. Small cherry tomatoes, mirchis, okay, chilies, kadi pattas, pudina, something like that you can grow in your kitchen garden, so you can save that cost by buying the vegetables and all. Having a kitchen garden is always best option. Dry fish, for non-vegetarians, dry fish are readily available. Okay, it has similar nutritional value, and if all around the year you're not uh, getting fish, especially in mainland India, not in the coastal area. In mainland India, if you want to have fish, dry fish is the best option, but it also comes with certain cons. While making it, it's very smelly and all those things. Your neighbors may not like it. Okay, there are certain cons to the dry fish, using dry fish at home. Broken rice, especially when you live in an area where you have a very good relation with your kirana wala and all. Okay, the shopkeepers and all. When the rice gets over in their gunny bags, okay, there are certain rice pots which is broken, good to use, but it is not in its complete shape. Okay, that can be sold at very low cost, and you can buy that broken rice from these vendors and use it in for making khichdis and all those things. Okay, then you can use jaggery, toned milk, skim toned milk. Steam the food. Steaming the vegetables is much more nutritive than frying the vegetables. Ration shop distribution, wherever ration shop distribution is available and you get good quality of cereals and pulses and other sort of things from that ration shop, make use of those things. Low cost diet is for everyone and anyone who is on a budget. Okay, for a good quality nutritional food doesn't mean it should come with a high expense. Okay, low cost dietary is for everyone and anyone throughout India. Okay, most of the Indian population is concentrated in the middle class and the lower middle class category. Okay, so these are the advices which you can give to these people. So classification of vegetarianism. First is the semi-vegetarian. There is a table for this in your textbook. It's on page number 47. Very simple table. Okay. In semi-vegetarianism, those who have the book, and pesco-vegetarianism. Okay. There is one difference. Can anyone say? Even if you want to read the textbook, you can read and tell that. Semi and pesco-vegetarianism. There is one difference. Semi-vegetarianism is not mentioned in the this. Yeah, people who are semi-vegetarian, they do have chicken, they do have fish, they do have eggs and all, but they refrain themselves from red meat, essentially red meat and other kinds of meat. Okay, so that is semi-vegetarianism. Yeah, in pesco also you will have fish. Okay, but in pesco you will not have chicken. That is the difference. Okay, see, pescatarians means pesco vegetarians, they will have fish but they will refrain from using chicken. Semi vegetarian means they will have chicken also, but they will not have meat, red meat like mutton, beef, or any other kind of red meats from other animal sources. Okay. Then lacto-ovo. Lacto means related to dairy. Ovo means related to eggs. So just by the name itself, we can understand what will be the meaning of lacto-ovo. Anyone in the chat box? Even in the image it is given. Yes, egg, milk, and all the vegetables, pulses, legumes, everything. Okay, lacto-ovo means milk, egg, as well as dairy products, egg, and all the vegetarian food. Ovo means simple. They will not have dairy. Okay, they will not have dairy, but they can have egg and the other vegetarian stuff. They do include egg, but they do not include dairy. Vegan. There are people still confused about veganism. Vegan. Lots of celebrities these days are following this vegan lifestyle. What do you understand by vegan? Only plant-based diet. True. Vegan means only plant-based. Polo vegetarian means, I guess it is semi, but they are using the word like polo because they have given an image of chicken. So semi-vegetarians, they do use chicken. So I guess they are using a different kind of terminology in this image, which I got from net. But in textbook, it is given as semi. Okay. So vegan means only plant-based. They will not even have dairy, no dairy products, and no other animal products, not even eggs. Okay, only completely plant-based diet, that is veganism. Then macrobiotic. For macrobiotic, remember, they do have wine, they will have wine, they will have whiskey, anything that can give them biotic drinks, but they will completely refrain from milk and milk products. So they will not, they want biotic items, but not from dairy sources. Like they will not have curd or buttermilk. Okay. Curd has enough amount of probiotics, but they will refrain from using dairy products as a form of biotic supply. So they will use, the main thing here is for macrobiotics, they will not use processed food. Okay, like Lays, chips, whatever comes in packages. Okay, they will not canned food in foreign countries and all. You will get canned vegetables, etc. Okay, so macrobiotic means they will processed food. They will completely avoid. Okay, meat and egg also they will avoid, because that's macrobiotic is a form of vegetarianism where meat, eggs, processed food is completely avoided. Fruitarians, can anyone say what would be the, just the name has the meaning of it? Fruitarians. Only on fruits. And also there are some school of thoughts in which they say they will not pluck the fruit from the tree. They will only use the fruit which has fallen off from the tree. That kind of school of thought is also there. Okay, so that is how fruitarians survive. And they also face a lot of deficiency in terms of nutritional deficiency, like calories, protein, calcium, iron, vitamin B minerals. Okay, B complex vitamins. Okay, they do have a deficiency for all these things because they solely depend on fruits, and that also the fruits which has fallen on the ground, and they don't believe in plucking the fruit from the tree and thus harming the tree. Okay, that kind of school of thought they do follow. Okay, that's a lifestyle which they have chosen. Then raw food diet. They do have vegetables as well as food. Okay, anything and everything which can be consumed raw. Okay, all the cooked and processed food will be removed from their diet list. It's very similar to vegan diet. Like in vegan also you will have fruits, vegetables, legumes, pulses, cereals, everything, but you do cook it. Okay, you cook it, but in raw food, uncooked fruits and vegetables, That is the raw food diet. White sugar, see, WHO itself has told 6 to 8 tablespoons of sugar can be used by an adult person every day. Okay, so white sugar is not as harmful, or as we say it's a very slow poison. Okay, sugar is a slow poison, like that. It depends upon the way how you use it. Okay, every day if you're consuming just 1 teaspoon or 2 teaspoon of sugar in your regular diet, okay, you have a cup of tea in the morning and the afternoon, a tablespoon of sugar, or teaspoon of sugar you are using it, not too much of sweetened tea or coffee. Okay, and your sugar intake is very much controlled, even though you are not diabetes. Okay, you are not diabetic, your sugar intake is very much controlled in your normal diet. It is less than 6 tablespoons. It is not going to harm you. Okay, excess of white sugar, obviously excess of anything as well as excess of white sugar is harmful, but it's not as harmful as how it is been marketed as. Okay, because the World Health Organization still, they themselves have given a list in which 1 tablespoon of salt, 6 to 8 tablespoon of sugar can be used in everyday diet. So that's the classification of vegetarianism. So questions can come from this. So please be clear about this. Okay, what each of these terminologies mean: semi, pesco, lacto, ovo, and everything. I guess just by the name itself you will understand it now after the explanation, and very good explanation is given in the textbook. Things that they can eat, things they have to avoid. Okay, nutritional considerations, especially when it comes to vegetarian diet, there are certain considerations and certain benefits and certain considerations which we have to pay attention more. So energy, what do you think is there is a non-vegetarian diet, a vegetarian diet, which of these do you think will give you more energy, veg or non-veg? More energy, which will give? In the chat box. Non-vegetarian, actually non-vegetarian food will give you more energy. Vegetarian foods, since it is low in fat and proteins, it supposedly it will give you less energy as compared to the same amount of non-vegetarian diet. Okay, so remember that. Okay, you usually people get a lot of misunderstanding in this. Vegetarian diet, naturally it offers lower calories as compared to non-vegetarian diet. Okay, because when you cook non-vegetarian diet, a certain amount of extra fats are required. Okay, so that is why the fat content is little bit more in non-vegetarian diet from the meat source itself, as well as the way you cook it. So automatically it gives a little bit more of a calorie. Overall calorie is much more in non-vegetarian diet as compared to vegetarian diet. Protein. So for non-vegetarian diet, it is much easier to acquire proteins. In vegetarian diet, you have to be very careful when you're doing the combinations, like using pulses and cereals as a combination. If for idli and dosa, you make a combination of rice as well as urad dal. Okay, that is a cereal and pulse combination that satisfies the protein requirement. So using various combinations of cereals and pulses, having a brief good knowledge about plant-based proteins, okay, that can clear up the protein deficiency from vegetarian diet. It is possible to have a sufficient protein with a low cost vegetarian diet. You can sufficiently meet all the nutritional protein requirement through vegetarian diet also. Fatty acids, what do you think you should have in non-vegetarian diet? You can depend on fish for your omega-3 fatty acids, but in vegetarian diet, I guess you should know that there is one particular thing people say, try to have it. It is very good vegetarian source of omega-3 fatty acids. Flax seeds, have you heard about it? Flax seeds. Yeah, flax seeds. Having flax seeds and having different forms of nuts and dry fruits, that will also fulfill the fatty acid requirement. Calcium. The people who are lacto-vegetarian, they get their calcium from dairy sources like milk and all. But those who have completely avoided milk, for example, vegans and all, so they have to take a special care of this. They may have to go for either calcium supplements, or they have to add certain foods like ragi, millets, okay, so certain millets into their diet for calcium supplementation. But there is one issue, that is the bioavailability of calcium. That means the food in its raw form, it has enough calcium, but when you cook it, and then when you consume it, that amount of calcium is not translated in the body. It will be lost in excretion, or it may be lost in the cooking process. So that's one con about getting calcium from vegetarian sources. So bioavailability is a concern here. So in that case, you can depend on calcium supplementation after you get your serum calcium levels and blood calcium levels checked. After that, the physician can prescribe you on a calcium supplement. Since it is very important, you have to prevent osteoporosis in the future. For that, it is important. Iron. So iron, what do you think? Is it easier for vegetarians, or it is easier for non-vegetarians to acquire iron through food? Is it easier for vegetarians or non-vegetarians? It is easier for vegetarians, okay, because naturally the vegetarian diet is filled with lots of green leafy vegetables and vegetables in general. It's easier for the vegetarians to fulfill their iron requirement as compared to non-vegetarians, okay. Any diet which is rich in green leafy vegetables, automatically their iron fulfillment will be done. Zinc. I don't know the nutritive value of almond on soy milk by heart, but you can check the net for that. What is the exact comparison of 100 ml of almond milk and 100 ml of milk? Okay, animal milk. You can check a comparison of that, so you will get to know that. Zinc. Zinc, animal sources as well as certain pulses, cereals and all, you can get the zinc supplementation met. Iodine, iodized salt is the best form of acquiring iodine. Vitamin A, all the plant food, especially all the yellow and orange fruits like mangoes, papaya, okay, rich in vitamin A. Vitamin D is usually present in animal origin food only, so it is a bit tricky for vegetarians. So they say that stand in sunlight for vitamin D. Sunlight doesn't give you vitamin D. Sunlight is just UV radiation. Okay, UVA, UVB, and infrared. Sunlight has only these three things. Sunlight doesn't have vitamin D. Vitamin D derivatives are present on the surface of your skin. Okay, beneath the epidermal layers and all, derivatives of vitamin D are present. When you stand in sunlight, these rays activate the vitamin D derivatives, and thus vitamin D is being produced inside your body. That is how the mechanism actually works. Sunlight doesn't give you vitamin D. Sunlight means it's UVA, UVB, and infrared rays. Nothing more than that. You have derivatives of vitamin D in your skin. Sunlight activates that. Okay, that is how you procure vitamin D, which is already present. Okay, because you are a human, you still a human is also a social animal. Okay, so animal fat has vitamin D. Sunscreen effects, usually when it comes to sunscreen, obviously it will affect, but to get the complete potency, okay, complete good quality protection from sunscreen, what you have to do here is every 2 to 3 hours you have to reapply it. Okay, even after applying sunscreen, you rub your face off, you rub something off, automatically that effect fades away. Okay, and also sunscreen also has a lot of PA 4 pluses, UV sun protective factors. Okay, how much of SPF you are using. Okay, the greater the number of SPF, greater protection. That is also different factors. But we have seen that the people who regularly use sunscreen to the point where the entire body is doused in sunscreen 2 to 3 hours, they are very strict in the application of sunscreen. You see vitamin D deficiency in those people. Plus, if they are not having non-vegetarian diet and they are extensively using sunscreen, it will block the sun rays. It will not block the vitamin D. Vitamin D derivatives are present in the body that requires sunlight to get activated. Okay, so people who are very strict on sunscreen, it does affect the vitamin D. It will lead to the vitamin D deficiency. That is a proven thing. Okay, the cosmetic industry has seen this over the period of years. People who are very regimental in applying sunscreen, they do develop vitamin D deficiency over a period of time. It does happen. So in that case, you have to go for vitamin D supplements. Okay, monthly, every weekly supplements. You have weekly supplements, monthly one supplements. Okay, it is available. Since it is a fat soluble vitamin, through tablets to just by mixing it with milk, or and injections are also available for vitamin D. Vitamin B, vegetarians don't find much of a deficiency in vitamin B. Their plant sources do not contain, but the cereals and pulses, they have a good quantity of vitamin B complex. Okay, folic acid is again, folate is also higher in vegetarian diet. Vitamin C, in all the if your food has fruits and vegetables, your vitamin C requirement will be met. So it is easier for it is easier for vegetarians. Fiber also, it is very easy for vegetarians because vegetarian diet is comparatively fiber rich as compared to non-vegetarian diet. Obesity, what do you think? Which diet will lead to obesity? Vegetarianism or non-vegetarianism? It's very easy. Yes, non-vegetarian diet. People who have non-vegetarian diet are more prone to be obese. Okay, and other obesity-related underlying diseases like cholesterol, okay, hypertension, they are at the risk of that. So for vegetarians, it is rare to find obese, but still there are uh, certain misconceptions there also. Okay, even if you're a vegetarian but you consume a lot of fats and a lot of carbohydrates, then obviously even with vegetarian diet you can be obese. Okay, that's also seen. If you have a moderately well cooked balanced vegetarian diet, chances are your body mass index will be relatively low and you will not be obese. Heart diseases, same. If vegetarian diet can prevent obesity, can it prevent heart diseases? Can vegetarian diet prevent heart diseases? Yes, it can. Cholesterol levels are very low in vegetarians as compared to non-vegetarians. Okay. Cancer. What rate of cancer is it more in non-vegetarians or vegetarians? The rate of cancer. It is more in non-vegetarians. It is less in. It is seen that people who have vegetarian diet are less prone to acquire cancer. Okay. Even studies have been done. Some study has been mentioned in the textbook also, which was done in Tata Memorial Research Cancer Care Center in Mumbai. That vegetarian diet is found to be protective of esophageal cancer. They took particular cancer for this. So in general, we can say vegetarian diet will restrict the chances of getting cancer. Even other diseases like constipation, cataract, dementia, stroke. Okay, these can also be prevented to an extent via vegetarian diet if you have a proper control in the consumption of fats and carbohydrates.